Let me show you how you can organize your day into what I call habit groups. So I'm going to start off by giving you 14 examples of what I call habit groups. Grab a pen and paper and follow along with me to get the most out of this. So let's say number 1 is morning routine. Number 2 is Google Docs and Gmail. And I'm going to also show you how you can combine some of these also. Number 3 is entertainment. Number 4 is bathroom. Number 5 is communication. Number 6 is charged devices. Number 7 is bonus habits. We'll talk about that in a second. Number 8 is the main habits. So this is going to be the 16 money or business habits that I told you about, or any habits that you do for money. So let's say money habits. Number 9 is night routine. This isn't specific order. We're starting off by just listing predictable habit groups that you might do daily. Number 10 is eating. Number 11 is drinking water or health drinks like protein shakes or green tea. Number 12 is clean up to sleep. So anything that you do to clean up before your night routine, it would be that. Number 13 is set up and track. So each habit you had set up to start the next habit, and you also track your progress. So that would be 13. And then 14 is workouts. So that's the 14 predictable habit groups. This is what I have so far, and you can add to this if you want. And then you get a second blank paper, and then at the top of the page, we're going to title this. So you can write today's date and habit tracking. So now let me show you how you can combine these habits and how you can organize them on a piece of paper. So which habits can we combine? Well, before I did a video on morning and night routine, so if you haven't watched that, make sure you check that out because I show how you can improve your morning and night routine. So for this, Google Docs and Gmail and morning routine, I actually added those together for the morning routine. So you can combine those. Other habits that you can combine is clean up to sleep and night routine. Just track those together as part of your night routine. Then other habits that you can combine after that is set up and track, bonus habits, and money habits. So let's say you have 16 main money habits that you want to do, maybe for online business. And then let's say you have 5 bonus habits that you want to add, like improving your work environment, maybe goal setting, maybe tracking your numbers. So let's say we have 21 new habits that you want to do. So then you're going to do this. So look, write today's date, habit tracking, and then you write the numbers down. So this is for 16 money habits, and this is for also 5 bonus habits. So 17 through 21 is our bonus habits. So that's just an example. Your habit list might be different. You might have 10 money habits that you want to do, and let's say you have 3 bonus habits. So then you'd only write 13 on here. But for this is assuming 16 money habits and 5 bonus habits. Now we're going to use the backside. This is how we're going to track the rest of these habits. Let me show you how this is going to work. So starting off, if you want to track your sleep time, you can write time woke up and time slept at the top right of the page. But that's just a little bonus that you can do. So now let's make this organized together. So at the start, I'm going to write morning routine since that's probably the first thing that you do in the morning. So this morning routine includes the morning routine and includes checking your email in Google Docs or online notes. So 1 and 2 are done. Now, depending on how many habits your morning routine is, you want to leave some space. Let's say you have a good morning routine, we're going to leave 3 lines of space. So you put a little line on this 3rd line. Sorry, the 4th line. Morning routine, leave 2 more lines, and then we have the next thing. And this doesn't need to be in exact order, but right now we're just organizing it and making a list of the habits that we want to track and that we do daily. So let's say the next thing is bathroom, leave a line of space. Then let's say eating. Eating, you don't need to leave that much space. Like if you do 2 to 3 meals a day, you just write the times you ate. Like you're not going to write like everything you ate with this paper. So just leave some space. I'm going to leave another line of space so it still looks clean. Morning routine, bathroom, and eating. Excuse my bad handwriting. I would always recommend you leave at least one line of space so it looks clean, but depends on how much habits you do for this. That determines how many lines you leave open. Now the next thing, let's put drink water or health drinks. And then workouts. Since workouts can include like stretching and walking and stuff, I'm actually going to leave a little more space since I do it throughout the day. I'm going to leave, let's say, 2 lines of space for that. Then let's say communication or social circle. That's like talking to your friends and stuff. So we got that. And then let's say entertainment. Okay. I wrote charge devices because that's what everybody does. You can choose to track that or not. It just depends on how organized you want your day to be. But might as well, right? If it stresses you out tracking too much stuff, you can track less stuff. Just track the most important stuff for you. And then night routine and clean up to sleep, we're gonna combine those. So let's say night routine. So your paper should look like this. So now that we have our habit groups listed and organized, you may ask, how do you actually track this now? So you can choose if you want to use a timer or not. I'm going to show you a hybrid version so that you can use a timer for some of the habits that I think are important to time and some habits that you don't need to time. For your money habits, this is optional to time track if you want. So if you don't want to time track, just write the progress that you did. So let's say number 1, if it's free success videos that you're learning from, say one thing to apply, free success videos. If let's say the second habit is you're learning something from online courses, you could say courses, one thing to apply. If let's say habit number 10 is your networking habit and you network on other social media platforms to grow your brand, you could say 36 comments. So the total amount that you actually did. Tracking your time here is optional. So that's how you track the bonus and the money habits. In step and time, you can track it if you want, but I think it's easier to not track it. So now let me show you how you track the backside. So let's think about this a bit because I don't want to time track too much because it can be very stressful. So this is what we got for the backside. You can add more groups if you want, but this is what I have so far. So morning routine, bathroom, eating, drink water, workouts, communication, entertainment, charge devices, and night routine. So which habits should we use a timer for? And how do we track this? So for the morning routine, keep it simple. Say, okay, I made bed, I used the bathroom, I flossed and brushed, I set up my Google Docs. And if you want to give yourself a time limit for some of these habits, you can. So let's say checking your social media notifications. If you do it for 5 minutes, you could write 5 minutes noti. So for your morning routine, for most of the habits, just write what you did. For the bathroom, I wouldn't recommend time tracking this since you can't really speed it up and it's just too much to track. Doesn't really give much value. So for bathroom, this is optional to track. Just put a check mark for every time you use the bathroom. So if you use the bathroom 5 times that day, just put 5 tallies like this. Simple. For eating, I would recommend you use different apps or just a notebook or online notes to track what you ate. But for this, to better organize your day, I would recommend setting a timer before you eat and then let the timer go until you're done eating. And then whatever time it stops on, when you're done eating, you write it down. So let's say lunch took you 30 minutes and 10 seconds. Let's say supper took you 32 minutes and 5 seconds. Drinking water, again, I wouldn't recommend time tracking this since you can't really speed it up. So for drinking water, I'd recommend just track how much water you drink to keep it simple. So if you drink 1 cup of water here, write it down. If you drink 2 cups of water here, write it down. And you keep going until you hit your hydration goal, whatever your goal is for that. For workouts, I'd recommend just use a timer for this. So if you do stretches and small mini workouts throughout the day, you could write like 3 minutes and 10 seconds, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Or if you work out just one time a day, you can write the time, like 60 minutes and 10 seconds, or 65 minutes and 20 seconds. So whatever method you do. So for this, let's say you work out once a day. Let's say 60 minutes and 10 seconds it took you. And then on fitness apps or a notebook, you write the workouts that you did. For communication, you could give yourself a max time with a physical timer or a timer on your phone, or you could just write a tally for amount of replies that you sent. So to your friends, for business, for collaborations, whatever it is. So let's say you replied to 5 messages that day. Just put 5 tallies. So for entertainment, this is what I recommend. Let's say you give yourself 20 minutes a day to watch movies. So let's say 20 minutes movies. And then you put a little box next to it. So this is going to be the max times you want to give yourself for your entertainment habits. Let's say you want to do 5 minutes social media scrolling. A little box. I'm going to show you in a second what that box means. It could also be an amount instead of just time. So like let's say for video games, if you play 8-ball pool, you could say 2 games in a little box. Let me show you what it looks like so far. So since you don't want to spend too much time on entertainment, our plan is to spend more time on success habits so that we can win more in life. For your entertainment, this is what you do now. So let's say 20 minutes movie. If you didn't watch any movies that day, or if you watched it 20 minutes and then you stopped, or if you did less than that time, like you watched only 10 minutes a movie, you give yourself a check mark. That means you won that day. If let's say you gave yourself max 5 minutes social media scrolling, if you didn't scroll, or if you did less than that, or if you hit that amount, you put a check mark. But let's say you scroll for 10 minutes that day. Then what you do is you put an X. Let's say for the games, if you did more than 2 games that day, you put an X. After we finish this, I'm going to show you a 2-timer system so that you can control your entertainment time. It's going to be interesting. Charge devices, just put a tally every time you charge it. But again, this is optional. You can track this if you want or not. And then for your night routine, it's the same as your morning routine. What did you do? Okay. For cleanup, I'd actually recommend you time it because it takes quite a bit of time. So if let's say cleanup took you 28 minutes and 55 seconds for cleanup, maybe use the bathroom, maybe you flossed and brushed, maybe you read 10 pages of a book, stuff like that. So check out how clean this looks now. So this is the front side, money habits and bonus habits, and then the back side. So this is what should look like when you're done. Now let me show you the 2-timer system for controlling entertainment time. This is what I do in the morning to control my scrolling time. And I notice when I do this, it's easy to stop. And when I don't do this, I scroll for way too long. So you give yourself 2 timers. I would recommend 2 physical timers for this, for no distractions. So let's say 5 minutes of social media scrolling after your morning routine. So what you do is the first timer starts at 0. This timer tracks how long you scrolled for. And then the second timer gives you a max time for your social media scrolling or whatever your entertainment is. And then before you start scrolling, you start both timers. And then you'll be scrolling on your phone until this timer is done. And then once this timer finishes, you stop scrolling. And if you keep on scrolling after that, you write an X on it because you failed that. So that's basically it. So what do you think is better? This system or time tracking every habit in the day? Both can be good, but it depends what's best for you. So leave in the comments below, what do you think?